Welcome to this Football Manager 2018 experiment, which will involve the top 6 clubs in the English Premier League. This series is called Starting From Scratch, and it's actually based on something I did a long time ago, back on Football Manager 2015. So using the FM18 editor, I have removed nearly all of the players from the top 6 English Premier League clubs: Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United, Man City, Liverpool and Tottenham Hotspur. The only players I have left are any players aged 16. Anyone aged 17 or over, I have removed using the FM18 editor. They're still on the game. We might see some of these clubs re-sign some of their old players, or they might move to rival clubs, or they might move to Europe. Possibly, we might see some players retire. When I did this before on FM15, some of the big players couldn't find clubs because there was too many players that had been released that wanted big contracts, and there wasn't enough clubs to sign them, essentially. It was quite interesting. So this is Chelsea, Manchester United. They're all going to have to rely on these 16-year-olds. They might be able to get some loan signings in before the end of the transfer window. They might have a little bit of money to spend. They've got a month to sign players. I am using the 2017-2018 season, so it's the start of Football Manager 2018. I haven't updated anything, so we're just going to holiday into the future and see what happens to these clubs. Here's Manchester City. They've obviously got a very good academy. We might see Man City and Chelsea relying on those academy players rather than loaning them all out. This is Liverpool, and lastly Tottenham Hotspur. So in this part 1, I'm going to holiday just one season to the end of the 2017-2018 season, and we're going to have a look at things in detail. We'll have a look at the 6 clubs. I suspect 3 of them will get relegated, almost certainly, unless they're able to make major signings before the end of the transfer window or in January. But they won't have a transfer budget. That's all been used up. Obviously their wage budget will be ridiculous. They'll have so many millions to spend for their wage budget, but I don't think they'll be able to make that many signings. We'll see anyway at the end of this first season. I'm going to be holidaying quite far into the future. We'll probably do a part 2 and 3 to this, and see how you guys are interested in this. I'll holiday as long as you want me to, basically. If you think this is a great idea, please leave a like on this video. That would be very much appreciated, as always. So I've holidayed until the end of the first season, and we've seen Arsenal, Liverpool and Tottenham get relegated. Tottenham got relegated with 2 points, not winning a single game. I do apologise to any Spurs fans watching this. Man United just about stayed up, 1 point ahead of Arsenal, with Chelsea and Man City slightly more comfortable, but Man City only managed to get 33 points. Look at the massive gap. They're 23 points behind West Ham in 14th place. You've got 56 points. I mean, 56 points is quite often enough to grab 7th place. It just shows how poor these 6 teams were. If there was any season that 6 teams should get relegated, it's this season, I reckon. Leicester City won the league, and that's the other interesting aspect to this. Who will dominate England for the next few seasons? Will it be Leicester City? It could well be. I mean, they've got that experience of winning the league previously, that shock win in 2015-16, of course, and that might allow them to win the league. They finished 2 points ahead of Watford. Newcastle and Southampton grabbed the other Champions League places, with West Brom, Burnley and Bournemouth qualifying for the Europa League. Chris Wood, top goal scorer, with 30 goals this season. That is amazing. Morata ended up moving to Southampton, by the way. He got 17 goals this season. Let's have a look at Tottenham Hotspur then. 2 points, minus 85 goal difference. Wasn't as bad as Liverpool's minus 88, but of course they did have a season where they didn't win a single game. I'm surprised that Man City actually only minus 25 goal difference. They might have managed to make some signings. Chelsea possibly did as well. But let's look at Spurs first. I forgot to mention I did remove the managers as well, and also the coaching staff. Didn't remove like physios or scouts or anything like that, but the coaching staff I removed. So they had to replace all of that. If we just have a look at, this is the list for Tottenham Hotspur. These are the coaches they have now, but in charge is Mark Warburton, the ex-Nottingham Forest manager. But let's have a look to see the team. Look at how different it is. Here we go. Any players you know? I don't really. Let's just go down this. In fact, it'd probably be easier to look at the transfer history to see who they brought in. So lots of free signings. Their biggest signing this season was Deshaun Daling from QPR. That's really random. Why? I don't know. This is a dreadful team. You can see why they finished bottom. Why they've loaned this guy from Everton? Panics. Just complete panic from Tottenham. They just didn't know what to do, I think, in this situation, and they've They've failed miserably, haven't they? Let's have a look at their results. Look at this. They didn't get a single draw until they drew against Liverpool 1-1, and they also drew against Swansea this season. I mean, it's pretty miraculous that they actually managed to get a draw with the team that they have. Remember, a lot of these teams played in the Champions League as well. Bottom of their group, and it wasn't exactly the hardest group, but they were far too weak compared to Celtic and Club Brugge to go through. And we need to go back to the last season. Let's have a look then at the group stage to see what happened to the English team. So Chelsea finished bottom with 1 point. They actually got a draw, I assume, against Ludogorets. Who else? Man City, bottom of their group. They managed to get a win and a draw, but still finished bottom. And we also saw Tottenham Hotspur finished bottom with minus 14 goal difference, 0 points. Man United also bottom with minus 17. Oh, that's dreadful, isn't it, from Man United? They probably thrashed by Real Madrid. Poor old Tottenham though. Let's go back and have a look at them. Dreadful Champions League campaign, as you would expect. They lost 4-0 in the third round of the Carabao Cup. In the FA Cup, they lost 2-1 against Sunderland from the Championship, and they only picked up 2 draws. They lost 4-0 a lot. I can't see any worse results than 4-0 though. There's a lot of 4-0. I don't think they conceded more than 4 goals in a game. You might be able to spot one in there, those of you with eagle eyes. Now let's have a look then at the second worst team, Liverpool, who ended up with Paul Hurst in charge of the club, the ex-Shrewsbury Town manager, moving to Liverpool. That doesn't really bode well. You might notice the reputation of these teams drop as well. I think Liverpool are 4.5 stars, and they're already under 4 stars because they're dreadful now. They've fallen apart. This is the Liverpool team. Famous Liverpool now consists of this team. It's not great. They've got Danny Pugh, 35-year-old Danny Pugh, who they managed to get in. Their top signing was Ross Fitzsimmons from Northampton Town, a goalkeeper. They also signed Reece Grego-Cox for 21,000. It's not great, is it? Danny Pugh came from Port Vale for 2.2k. Oh dear, Liverpool, oh dear. Let's have a look then at their schedule. So they actually lost in the Champions League best place playoff, 8-0 on aggregate to Sporting. Not a great start to the season. However, they did manage to beat Tottenham. That was one of their wins. Their other win in the league was against Manchester United. So that old rivalry, they managed to get a win this season. It doesn't matter that they were relegated because they beat Manchester United. Although Man United did, of course, stay up. They did get a draw in the Europa League, 2-2 draw, but yeah, it wasn't going to be enough to get out of that group, was it? They lost the other games. They lost 5-0 against Huddersfield. They drew against Tottenham, so they beat and drew against Tottenham. What else? They drew against Huddersfield 2-2 as well, but yes, not great for Liverpool. This is what I was expecting to see, but the more interesting thing is, in part 2, we're going to holiday a few years, see if any of these teams can recover, because at the end of this first season, remember, they can make signings. They are rich clubs. They've got loads of money. They've got a massive wage budget to fill. So they should be making lots of signings, even the teams dropping into the Championship. Arsenal have Thomas Christensen in charge of the club, the ex-Leeds United manager. They're down to 4-star reputation. I'm pretty sure they won 4.5 at the start. This is the Arsenal team then. But let's have a quick look to see who they signed. So they did sign someone for £120,000. What a name this is, by the way. Botti Biabi. Fantastic name. Signed him from Swansea. But this is their top signing. Georges Gope Venepej. Something like that. He's a New Caledonian player. That is just brilliant. And very random. They signed someone from Spennymoor, of all places. Chris Mason coming in from Spennymoor. We have messed up the game completely, haven't we? They got Paul Konchesky on a free. He's been playing for Billericay Town in the Isthmian League. And they signed him, and he got a 6.09 average rating this season. This is excellent. Absolutely love it. I mean, if you might spot some really funny things in here. I remember this chap. Ebanks Blake, he's 32 years old now. He's been playing for Telford in the Vanarama North, and he's moved to Arsenal, and unfortunately didn't manage to score a goal in the league. So this is how Arsenal's results went down. They lost the Community Shield against Chelsea. That is just... Oh, look at this. Look at the teams. Look at the players involved in this. Arsenal 2, Chelsea 2. Chelsea win on penalties. That is fantastic. Who got the goals? Ollie Inca, a 17-year-old for Arsenal, scored. Also, Tyrese John Jules scored for Arsenal. Marcel, I think these are greyed out players as well, because they hadn't signed anyone by this point. They're using fake players in the Community Shield. That is amazing. Still 90,000 people turned up for it. Arsenal did beat Chelsea in the Carabao Cup though, but they lost in the 4th round against Leicester City, the eventual champions of the league, who went on to win this. Leicester won this as well. They beat West Ham on penalties in the final. My boys West Ham failing. They finished bottom of the league as well, essentially, above these 6 terrible big clubs. And they beat Liverpool. They also beat Tottenham and Man City and Liverpool again, but it wasn't enough to stay up, of course. So the 3 teams that survived, Manchester United, Chelsea, Man City. Man United only just survived. They managed to get 5 wins. They managed by Steve Bruce, of all people, who left Aston Villa to come and manage Manchester United. They're still a 4.5-star reputation team. Are they 5 stars? I think they're just 4.5 at the start of the game. Their top signing coming from Peterborough, £130,000, 25-year-old. He's probably the best player we've seen so far. He might have kept them up. They also signed this chap from Charlton, Naby Sarr. And they signed a player from Oldham, Courtney Duffus, coming in from Oldham, 22 years old. One for the future, maybe. This is the team. Oh, it's brilliant. I mean, their top goal scorer got 2 goals. That is terrible. How was it only 2 goals? Surely they scored more than that. Maybe there's players in the reserves that featured as well, or greyed out players possibly. What are they playing? Tactics 4-4-1-1. Now this chap is one. He's actually got real talent. He's only 16 at the start of the game, which is why he's still at Manchester United. But he could turn into a very good player for them if they keep him. But let's have a look then. They actually lost the Super Cup 5-0 against Real Madrid. I'm surprised it wasn't more, considering the players that featured. Cristiano Ronaldo scored all 5 goals and got a 10.0. You don't see that very much. Poor old Kearney in goal, 4.9, a greyed up goalkeeper, conceded 5 goals to Ronaldo. But, I mean, considering it's this world-class talent against this dross, there should have been more than 5-0. Now, they actually opened the Premier League campaign with a 2-1 win and a 1-1 draw against Chelsea. Not bad going. After that, it all went wrong. They did beat Liverpool 2-0 and Arsenal 1-0 and Tottenham 1-0 and Chelsea 1-0. They beat Man City in the FA Cup 3rd round, so brilliant against their rivals, but they lost in the 4th round against Millwall. But this point here against Arsenal kept them up. 1 point ahead of Arsenal. That was a very important game to get a point in. They did actually throw away 3 points in the 90th minute, but still it kept them up. Let's move on to, is it Chelsea, I think? Yeah, Chelsea finished 16th. Juan Ramos is in charge. He left Malaga in 2016 and became manager of Chelsea. They've still got a 4.5-star reputation, so they haven't really been affected by it yet. But let's have a look then to see their team. This is the Chelsea team. I imagine they signed some players. They did. They signed someone from Nottingham Forest, Andreas Bukalakis. They signed him for 950k. Congolo came in from Mansfield, 20-year-old player, for 150k, Signed player from Bradford. So they spent a bit of money. They spent £1.6 million in total, and that kept them up. They were better than the other top 6 teams, of course. Let's have a look. They, of course, won the Community Shield, remember. They got a draw against Ludogorets in the Champions League. They beat Arsenal. They beat Everton 1-0, which is amazing considering they finished second. Second. Where did Everton finish? They didn't finish second. That was Watford. Can't remember. They finished down in 13th. I'm surprised West Ham and Everton finished. They were the worst 2 teams out of this lot. Maybe I'm not surprised, actually. Let's scroll down. So they beat Tottenham. They beat Liverpool 3-0. They beat Swansea 1-0. Arsenal, Tottenham, Man City. They just beat each other, these teams, didn't they? Let's move on to Man City then. So they've got a good manager, Rosler, who left Fleetwood. He's a good manager. Let's say he's German. He's a good manager. So yeah, he left Fleetwood to join Manchester City. And this is the team that they have. They re-signed Caballero. Yeah, so they obviously released him, but they re-signed him, so he might be the reason why they stayed up, because they had a good goalkeeper. He decided to forgive them and come back to Manchester City despite the fact he was released. A couple names that stand out here, actually. David Mailer, FIFA guy, FIFA YouTuber, and of course Hull City player at the start of this. He moved to Man City for £2.1 million, and also Sam Baldock, who didn't actually score, but they signed him for £3.2 million from Brighton. So they did spend money. They spent £18 million, in fact. The top signing was Ashley Westwood from Burnley. And so they've got some all right players. They signed Kyle Walker-Peters on a free. Why did he? Of course, he left. I released him from Tottenham, and they signed him on a free. So Man City were able to attract some players. In fact, they signed Ganzo. Brazilian football manager legend Ganzo came to Manchester City, which is really interesting. For those interested, Newcastle managed to beat Leicester in the FA Cup final to deny Leicester City an English treble. That would have been very impressive, but they've qualified for the Champions League. We'll have to see how they get on in Part 2 in the Champions League, along with Watford and who else? I can't remember who qualified. Let's have a quick look. It was Leicester, Watford, Newcastle and Southampton that qualified for the Champions League. The reputation of the English Premier League has already dropped after one season because of these teams with high reputation doing badly. It will probably continue to drop for a while unless the likes of Leicester can compete in the Champions League and go quite far in that competition. You're probably wondering where some of the superstars from these 6 clubs ended up. Aguero ended up in China. He's worth £62 million, earning only £89,000 a week, which is pretty low for China and for Aguero, but he's gone there. I think some of these players probably would have got a little bit desperate and needed to move on. De Bruyne, we have to see where he ended up, don't we? Thinking of Man City, he's gone to Barcelona, obviously on a free. What a free signing, eh? Eden Hazard's gone to Bayern Munich. Wow. Pogba's moved to PSG, so he's moved back to France. Great free signings. Romelu Lukaku's gone to Napoli, though, which is a very interesting signing. Did he win the league with them? No, Juventus managed to win the league. Napoli down in 4th place. De Gea has ended up at PSG, so I'm surprised he didn't actually move to Real Madrid, but he's moved to France. I want to see who the Champions League was won by, actually. Where's the Champions League? Here we are. We might have already seen that when I looked at the Champions League before, but yes, it was Real Madrid who won it, just like in real life, but they won on penalties. Did they sign any of the... They've got Salah. They signed Salah on a free. Oh, wow. That's in fact, it shows that he never actually played for Liverpool because, of course, this was his first season at Liverpool in real life, so he didn't ever play for them. There might be another couple players in here as well. For Bayern Munich, of course, we saw Eden Hazard play for them. Gabriel Jesus as well. Moved from Man City to Bayern Munich on a free. Ozil's ended up moving to China as well. I mean, I could be here all day looking through all the players that have gone. Let's look at Harry Kane. We need to look at Harry Kane, don't we? He's moved to Dortmund of all teams. That's quite random. But he's fancied a life in Deutschland. The English team will have... The England team will have players playing all over the place now, with all the players leaving. We've got Henderson also playing for Dortmund. Harry Kane. Rashford's gone to Hertha Berlin. Bit of a hipster he is. Dele Alli's at Leicester City. English champions, of course. So he's got more of a chance of winning the league with Leicester than Tottenham. Raheem Sterling went to Real Madrid. Lingard went to Real Sociedad. Oxlade-Chamberlain went to Gladbach. Ross Barkley went to Newcastle. Jack Wilshere's at Crystal Palace. This is absolutely fascinating. Eric Dyer moved to Barcelona, which I think is quite random. Trent Alexander-Arnold went to Newcastle. Phil Jones at Southampton. Kyle Walker at Bournemouth. John Stones. That is a good fit with Barcelona, I must say. And that's it. But yeah, that is amazing. I love the fact that Rashford has gone to Hertha Berlin. That is brilliant. I wonder if this will benefit the English national team. They're playing all over Europe. Will that help them or hinder them? I guess we'll have a look. I don't think I have the real World Cup loaded into this. I presume they've qualified for the World Cup. But I think that's the end of today's part. I hope you've enjoyed this part 1. If you have, please hit that like button. the thumbs up button is a great feature just to let me know that you're enjoying a particular video of mine, particular series, and then I know what to do in the future as well. It will make me think, you enjoyed that, I'll do something similar, or you didn't enjoy that, I won't do that in the future. So remember to hit that, be very much appreciated. In part 2, we will holiday a couple more seasons, maybe 3 seasons in total, maybe a couple more, I don't know, we'll see. And we'll see how these teams cope, how the top 6 English clubs, and now the bottom 6 English clubs, of course, and 3 of them have got relegated. Will the other 3 get relegated, or will Man City be able to recover and survive? Will there be one team that never goes down? If it's any team, I'd kind of predict it to be Man City, because I think they've got the money, they've got the academy to perhaps turn it around a bit, and they might even go back to the top of the table. We shall find out. But until next time, enjoy FM18, enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you very soon.